In the astounding tapestry of life, some creatures possess the ability to defy the very concept of death. From headless chickens to immortal jellyfish, we explore 20 fascinating animals that challenge our conventional understanding of life and death. Number 1. The headless chicken, Miracle Mike. One of the most notable examples of an animal living after death is Mike the headless chicken. Mike's story began in 1945 on a Colorado farm when farmer Lloyd Olson decided to have chicken for dinner. After a failed attempt at decapitation, Mike, to everyone's surprise, did not die but continued to peck around the farm, despite his headless condition. Mike's survival was due to the unique anatomy of chickens and the cut's precision. The axe missed the jugular vein, leaving one ear and most of the brainstem intact. This brainstem, responsible for most of the bird's reflexive actions, kept Mike alive. Olson started feeding Mike directly into his esophagus using a dropper, sustaining him for 18 months. Mike became a worldwide sensation, demonstrating an uncanny will to live, long after what should have been a swift end. Number 2. Jellyfish, the immortal species. Teratopsis dohrnii, also known as the immortal jellyfish, is an extraordinary marine creature. Unlike most animals, this jellyfish has developed an astounding mechanism to revert its cells to their earliest form and start growing anew. In times of physical distress or aging, it can transition back into its polyp state, essentially allowing it to begin its life cycle anew. The process is a sophisticated one. The jellyfish's cells undergo transdifferentiation, where they can transform and fulfill different roles. Muscle cells can become nerve cells or even sperm or egg cells. The potential is seemingly endless, presenting an intriguing model of biological immortality. Yet this immortality is somewhat paradoxical. Despite its capacity to rejuvenate indefinitely, Teratopsis dohrnii remains vulnerable to disease and predation. So, while it can escape death from natural aging, it's not exempt from the circle of life. Nonetheless, its unique ability to revert its cells and start its life anew continues to fascinate scientists, redefining our understanding of life and death. Number 3. The resilient cockroach. Cockroaches are notorious for their survival skills. Even decapitation, a fatal blow to most creatures, doesn't seem to bother them. Cockroaches can live for weeks without their heads because their central nervous system is distributed throughout their body, and they do not rely on their mouth or head to breathe. Instead, they breathe through spiracles, tiny holes in their body segments, which transport air directly to their tissues. Additionally, the cockroach's blood doesn't rely on hemoglobin to carry oxygen, nor does it need to rush to the wound site to clot, preventing the roach from bleeding out. They don't eat frequently and can survive on limited resources, further enhancing their survival after decapitation. It's not until the cockroach needs to eat or drink that its luck finally runs out. While headless, the insect cannot ingest water and eventually dies from dehydration. Number 4. The tenacious flatworm. Planarians, commonly known as flatworms, possess a truly extraordinary biological feature, an almost supernatural regenerative ability. If a flatworm is sliced into pieces, each part can regenerate into a complete organism. Their secret lies within their cells, specifically a population of pluripotent stem cells that can differentiate into any cell type. Whether it's a tiny fragment or a half portion, each carries the blueprint to form an entirely new flatworm. Even the decapitated head can regenerate a new body, while the remaining body can sprout a new head. This remarkable trait is driven by an intricate interplay of genes and signaling pathways, and scientists are still unraveling the complexity of this regenerative process. The tenacious flatworm's regenerative abilities make them fascinating subjects in biological research. They are not only challenging the understanding of cellular differentiation and regeneration, but also bring promise for advancements in regenerative medicine. Number 5. The death-defying frogs and toads. In the amphibian world, certain species of frogs and toads showcase an exceptional survival strategy that has evolved to cope with freezing winters. They can endure being frozen solid, only to miraculously come back to life as the temperature rises. Species such as the North American wood frog possess specialized proteins and glucose in their blood that act like an antifreeze. When the temperature plummets, these creatures freeze, Their heart stops beating, and all other bodily functions cease, essentially entering a state that resembles death. However, these anti-freeze compounds prevent ice from forming inside cells, which would otherwise cause lethal damage. Once warmer weather returns, these frogs and toads slowly thaw. Their heart resumes beating, other organs restart, and they hop back into life as if they hadn't just been frozen. This freeze tolerance allows them to survive in harsh environments that many other creatures cannot tolerate, demonstrating another unique adaptation in the animal kingdom that defies the conventional understanding of life and death. Number 6. Chickens and the reflex action. Chickens exhibit post-mortem reflexes that are quite unnerving. Much like the headless chicken Mike, other decapitated chickens can run around wildly, an action that's become so common it has inspired the phrase, running around like a headless chicken. This phenomenon occurs due to the chicken's nervous system. Birds have a small part of their brain, known as the central pattern generator, CPG, which is capable of controlling complex movements without the need for direct command from the brain. This is especially true for actions that are instinctual or repetitive, such as running. When a chicken is decapitated, this CPG is left intact and can trigger the reflex action of running even when the chicken's brain is no longer connected. Eventually, the chicken will stop running due to physical exhaustion or because the neurons in the CPG burn out from overuse. It's a grim reminder of the fascinating complexity of the animal nervous system. Number 7. The fruit fly and its peculiar lifespan. Fruit flies, or Drosophila melanogaster, possess a peculiar post-death behavior that has left many scientists intrigued. Decapitated fruit flies can continue to live for several days, thanks to their distributed nervous system. This system allows their body to perform basic functions, such as preening, copulation, and even complex behaviors like courtship dances. The fly's central nervous system is located in the thorax, not the head, enabling them to perform many activities without the brain. This does not mean they can carry on indefinitely. Their decapitated state restricts them from eating or drinking, leading to an eventual death due to dehydration or starvation. This resilience of fruit flies even after decapitation has been advantageous for scientific studies, especially in understanding motor coordination, mating behavior, and the effects of certain drugs or alcohol on motor functions. Number 8. Octopuses and their incredible autonomy. Octopuses possess an intriguing ability that aids in their survival even in the face of impending death autonomy. Autotomy, a phenomenon where an animal self-amputates its body part, is a common escape strategy in octopuses. They can intentionally shed an arm to distract a predator, providing a crucial distraction for the octopus to make its escape. What's remarkable is that the severed arm does not just twitch and writhe, it moves with purpose, as if it has a life of its own. The arm contains a significant number of neurons, allowing it to react to its environment and perform complex movements even after being separated from the body. This extraordinary trait allows octopuses to maintain a sense of life even in body parts that have been discarded. The phenomenon of autotomy and the independent functionality of severed arms blur the lines between life and death, providing another compelling instance of survival mechanisms in the animal kingdom. Number 9. The remarkable survival of Teratopsis nutricula. The Teratopsis nutricula, commonly known as the immortal jellyfish, is an extraordinary marine creature, not to be confused with the jellyfish species we discussed earlier. This jellyfish species has the extraordinary ability to revert its cells to their earliest form and give birth to a new, genetically identical organism. This biological ability makes the jellyfish virtually immortal in terms of age. When faced with physical trauma, sickness, or even old age, the Teratopsis nutricula can transform its cells to their most primitive state and start its life anew. The process, known as transdifferentiation, is highly versatile. Cells from any part of its body can transform into other cell types. The cycle of transformation can technically continue indefinitely, rendering the jellyfish theoretically immortal. Despite this ability, the Teratopsis nutricula isn't completely invincible. It remains susceptible to disease and predation. Thus, while it can cheat death from old age, it can't escape the circle of life. Number 10. The Tardigrade, a microscopic marvel. Among the most resilient creatures on Earth is the tardigrade, a microscopic organism that possesses an almost supernatural capacity for survival, not merely beyond death, but even in the most inhospitable environments imaginable. Tardigrades, commonly known as water bears or moss piglets, are incredibly small. Measuring approximately 1 millimeter long, these tiny creatures are typically found in a variety of environments ranging from high mountain ranges to deep-sea trenches. Their impressive adaptability is matched only by their incredible survival skills. The tardigrade's resistance to death primarily stems from its ability to enter a state of cryptobiosis, which is akin to suspended animation. In this state, the tardigrade dehydrates itself to less than 3% of its normal water content, shrinks into a compact form called a toon, and drastically reduces its metabolic activity. This transformation allows the tardigrade to endure extreme conditions that would typically be fatal. From boiling temperatures above 100 degrees Celsius to absolute zero in the vacuum of space, tardigrades can survive. They can withstand radiation levels thousands of times higher than a lethal dose for humans, endure pressure 6 times greater than that found in the deepest ocean trenches, and go without food or water for more than a decade. Essentially, tardigrades can tolerate conditions far beyond the limits of nearly all other life forms. What is even more fascinating is that once environmental conditions improve, tardigrades can rehydrate, reanimate, and continue their life as if they hadn't just survived a scenario that would typically mean certain death. Remarkably, tardigrades can even reproduce after these extreme episodes, laying eggs that will hatch into perfectly healthy offspring. This near-death survival capability of tardigrades isn't just a curiosity, it has significant implications for various fields of research. Their incredible resilience provides valuable insights for scientists studying extreme habitats and the potential for life on other planets. Moreover, understanding the tardigrade's extraordinary adaptability could lead to advancements in preserving biological materials and developing better protection against radiation. Despite their minuscule size, tardigrades are mighty warriors in the battle for survival, withstanding the harshest of conditions that the universe can throw at them. They embody life's remarkable determination to persist against all odds, displaying an impressive form of survival that borders on resurrection. Number 11. The sturdy stick insect. Stick insects, known for their resemblance to twigs and branches, harbor a fascinating survival mechanism that extends life even after being brutally attacked. Like octopuses, many stick insect species have the ability to self-amputate their limbs, a process known as autotomy. They can voluntarily shed a leg if it's caught in the grip of a predator, increasing their chances of escape. The astonishing aspect of this survival tactic is the functionality the lost limb retains. The detached limb will continue to flex and move as if it's still connected to the insect's body, drawing attention and providing a crucial distraction for the stick insect to escape. The insect's body, meanwhile, has the capacity to regenerate the lost limb when it molts. This clever self-amputation and distraction technique, coupled with regenerative abilities, provides a riveting example of survival extending beyond fatal injuries, pushing the boundaries of life and death. Number 12. The zombie ants controlled by fungi. A unique and somewhat macabre instance of life after death in the animal kingdom is seen in zombie ants. This term refers to ants infected with Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, a parasitic fungus. This fungus takes over the ant's brain and manipulates its behavior for its own benefit. The infected ant is compelled to climb vegetation and bite down onto the underside of a leaf or twig, locking itself in place. The ant dies in this position, and the fungus begins to grow, feeding on the ant's insides and eventually sprouting a stalk that releases spores to infect more ants. While the ant is technically dead, the fungus extends the ant's life by using its body as a vessel for growth and reproduction. This fungus-controlled behavior of the infected ant is a unique example of life continuing after death, albeit under the control of a different organism, thus redefining the boundaries of life, death, and survival. Number 13. Praying mantis and their postmortem reproduction. The praying mantis, an iconic insect recognized for its prayer-like stance, is also notorious for a gruesome mating ritual. In some species of mantises, the female decapitates and consumes the male during copulation, a phenomenon known as sexual cannibalism. Interestingly, the loss of the male's head doesn't halt the mating process. Instead, it accelerates it. Decapitation triggers a nerve center in the mantis's abdomen, releasing a burst of activity that drives the final stages of copulation. Consequently, the headless body continues mating, fertilizing the female's eggs, essentially extending its life to ensure the survival of its genetic material. While this may seem like a macabre end, it's a successful reproductive strategy from an evolutionary standpoint. The female gains nourishment from the male's body, enhancing the survival chances of the offspring, ensuring that the male's genes live on. Number 14. Zebra finch. Life after decapitation. Zebra finches, small and colorful Australian birds renowned for their melodic songs, exhibit a remarkable phenomenon that challenges our understanding of life and death. Even after decapitation, these finches continue to sing, leaving scientists and observers astounded by their posthumous musical performances. Decapitation, an act that would typically be considered fatal for most creatures, does not seem to deter the zebra finch from expressing its song. The reason behind this extraordinary ability lies in the complex neural control of their vocalizations. Zebra finches possess a specialized brain region called the song system, which is responsible for generating and controlling their intricate songs. Unlike mammals, zebra finches do not rely solely on their brains to produce their songs. Instead, their song system operates relatively independently from the rest of their brain. This means that even after decapitation, the song system can continue to function and drive the vocalizations that define the finch's melodic repertoire. The decapitated zebra finch's song, however, is not an exact replica of its usual performance. Without the influence of higher brain centers, the posthumous song tends to lack the complexity and fine-tuned control of a live finch's vocalization. Nevertheless, the fact that these birds can continue to vocalize, albeit in a somewhat altered manner, highlights the intricate neural mechanisms at play and raises intriguing questions about the nature of life and the boundaries of consciousness. In the intricate symphony of life, zebra finches showcase a captivating example of how certain aspects of an organism's existence can persist even beyond what is conventionally considered death. Their posthumous songs serve as a testament to the resilience of the song system and challenge our understanding of the interplay between life, consciousness, and the intricate neural processes that underlie complex behaviors. Number 15. The squid's posthumous defense. Squids, with their remarkable adaptations and intricate behaviors, possess a captivating posthumous defense mechanism that continues to astound scientists and observers alike. When threatened or attacked, certain species of squids exhibit an extraordinary phenomenon known as posthumous bioluminescence. Bioluminescence, the production and emission of light by living organisms, is a widespread occurrence in the marine world. However, the squid's ability to emit light after death is particularly striking. This mesmerizing display serves as a last line of defense, aimed at startling predators and potentially deterring them from their attack. The process behind this posthumous bioluminescence involves specialized cells called photophores, which are responsible for the squid's ability to produce light. When the squid dies, these photophores can remain functional for a period of time, allowing the squid's body to continue emitting light. The purpose of this light show is believed to be twofold. Firstly, it may serve as a startling distraction to the predator, momentarily disorienting it and allowing the squid's companions to escape. Secondly, the sudden flash of light could attract larger predators, drawing attention away from the deceased squid's kin and providing them with an opportunity to flee. Furthermore, the phenomenon of posthumous bioluminescence in squids raises intriguing questions about the nature of life and the boundaries between life and death. It serves as a reminder that in the intricate tapestry of the natural world, even in the face of mortality, certain organisms can continue to impact their surroundings long after their last breath. Number 16. The hardiness of the water bear. Earlier, we explored the death-defying ability of tardigrades, often referred to as water bears in their cryptobiosis state. Here, we revisit these minute creatures to appreciate their full hardiness. Tardigrades, despite their tiny size, are one of the most resilient organisms on the planet. They can survive radiation, boiling liquids, massive amounts of pressure, and even the vacuum of outer space. This resilience continues even in death, or rather, what would be death for most organisms. When subjected to these extreme conditions, tardigrades enter an ametabolic state known as a ton. In this state, they can endure environments that would normally be lethal. Despite the cessation of metabolic activities and the absence of visible life signs, tardigrades can revive and resume their normal functions when returned to favorable conditions. This ability to bounce back from the brink of death emphasizes the hardiness of the water bear and the remarkable tenacity of life. Number 17. Salamanders, limb regeneration and beyond. Salamanders are captivating amphibians known for their unique ability to regenerate lost body parts. Unlike many other animals, salamanders can regrow not just their tails, but entire limbs, parts of their hearts, spinal cords, and even portions of their eyes. This regenerative capability is a crucial survival strategy, allowing them to recover fully from injuries that would be fatal to many other species. A salamander's regenerative process begins immediately after injury. Specialized cells at the injury site start to proliferate and form a mass known as a blastema. These blastema cells are pluripotent, similar to embryonic stem cells, meaning they can develop into any type of cell needed to rebuild the lost body part. This regenerative capability blurs the lines between life and death, as salamanders can restore vital body parts and recover from conditions that would ordinarily lead to death, demonstrating an extraordinary adaptation in the animal kingdom. Number 18. The sea cucumber's extraordinary defense. Sea cucumbers, marine creatures named for their resemblance to the vegetable, possess a bizarre yet effective defense mechanism that defies death. When threatened, sea cucumbers can perform an act known as evisceration. They expel their internal organs from their bodies. While such a drastic action might seem like a death sentence, sea cucumbers possess the remarkable ability to regenerate the ejected organs within a few weeks. The organs left behind act as a decoy, potentially distracting or satiating the predator and allowing the sea cucumber to escape. Interestingly, evisceration is not always a response to danger. Sea cucumbers are also known to eject and regrow their internal organs as a form of self-cleaning or to rid themselves of parasites. This capacity to survive after evisceration and regenerate vital internal structures showcases the sea cucumber's remarkable resilience and offers another stunning example of life persisting beyond fatal conditions. Number 19. The detachable spiders. Some species of spiders possess a peculiar survival strategy that allows them to live on after losing a part of their body. In the face of danger, orb-weaving spiders can autotomize or self-amputate their legs. The process of autotomy in spiders involves the spontaneous breaking off of the leg at a specific weak joint in its structure, with the muscles of the leg constricting to prevent excessive loss of hemolymph, the spider's equivalent to blood. Once a leg is lost, the spider can still carry on with its daily life, albeit in a somewhat impaired manner. The detached leg continues to twitch and move due to a neat biological trick. Like many invertebrates, spiders have decentralized nervous systems, which means that certain functions, including some movement, can be controlled from nerve clusters called ganglia in their legs. As a result, the detached leg can keep moving for a while, causing a distraction to predators and buying the spider some time to escape. While the spider does not regenerate the lost leg, this self-amputation trick exemplifies an extraordinary survival strategy in the face of danger, blurring the line between life and death. Number 20. The bees that can sting even after death. Bees are well known for their defensive mechanism, the dreaded bee sting. What's less known is that some bees can still inflict this sting long after they have died. The stinger of a bee, particularly in species like the honeybee, is a complex structure with its own musculature and nervous system. When a bee stings, it often leaves its stinger, venom sac, and associated tissues embedded in the skin of its target. Even after the bee has died, this apparatus can continue to pump venom and drive the stinger deeper into the skin. This reflexive action of the stinger is controlled by a ganglion located within the stinger apparatus itself. Because the action isn't controlled by the bee's central nervous system, the stinger can continue to function independently, even after the bee is dead. This ability to cause harm post-mortem is an extraordinary adaptation, one that ensures the bee's defensive strategy continues to be effective beyond its life, thereby deterring potential predators from the hive. The case of the bee's stinger offers yet another instance where life, or at least the effects of a once-living organism, persists beyond the point of death.